Chicken. Yeah. Okay, cái gì rồi các bạn? Good morning. Good morning. Give it time. Okay. You're in the bakery. Good, not much of a girl licking the ball. Yeah, good girl. Must mean you're hungry, huh?
Hit that like button. It really does help us out. And if you could share out the broadcast, let people know. I know a lot of people on social media got this all hyped up about, could hit the U.S. and stuff. We want to make sure people know that where they are and that they're safe. This is really the best possible outcome we could have seen with this for its orbital reentry path. It's over ocean almost the entire way. So that's what we're keeping a close eye on. So take a moment, share out the broadcast, helps us out. And if you haven't yet, subscribe here at the Launchpad. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, because we believe that space is better together, and we do full live launch coverage of all the agencies around the world. We actually covered this launch live earlier last week, so if you wanted to see the launch of this rocket, you could do so on our channel. We also bring you space briefings, space news updates, and exclusive one-on-one interviews here, and we got a bunch of those coming up as we count down to the orbital flight test of Artemis 1. If you'd like to help support what we do, it's never expected, but it is greatly appreciated. Consider sending in a super chat or hitting that join button. Or better yet, if you don't want YouTube to take 30% of your support, check out our Patreon. It really does help us out. Even just a couple dollars a month helps us bring in the best possible coverage that we can. And just like that, thank you so much for that super chat there. Back to Pokeball. Really appreciate that support from you here this morning. Ian the Space Nerd is asking, will this happen every time a Long March 5 rocket launches to the CSS? This will happen anytime a Long March 5B rocket launches. It also does happen with a Long March 3A rocket, and a couple of the others. So we do know this October we will go through this all again with another launch of another module up to the Chinese space station. So this isn't the last time we're going to go through this year. We will keep track of it and bring updates. We don't want to, we'll bring updates as we get them, but we don't want to cause panic. That's why we only started covering this late last night when it really narrowed down to about 6 orbits. Because anything before that, we were seeing orbital paths basically over the entire planet, and we didn't want to necessarily cause a panic around that. But once we actually have for sure information, that is when we will start reporting on these type of events. Because we don't want cities to be evacuating over misinformation. But it is a large chunk. 22.6 tons is the rocket. It's 20 to 40% expected to make re-entry here today. But the target zone now over the Pacific Ocean, we may get one more prediction on that re-entry zone as we get a little bit closer, but we'll wait to see. At this point, South Africa, it is now past. It is heading into the Indian Ocean. This is where originally we thought it may enter. So we are keeping an eye on if there's any chance that it will be re-entering the atmosphere at this point. Currently traveling 7.82 kilometers a second, or 4.86 miles a second. Again, if you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat by tagging at the Launchpad. We'll be trying to answer those questions to the best of our ability. If you haven't yet, follow us over on our Twitter. That's where we live tweet events as they happen. And you can join us over on our Discord. We've been hanging out in live comms all morning, talking about this and answering questions in there. Our Discord's completely free, open to the public. But if you do become a TLP member over on Patreon or here on YouTube, you do get access to our behind-the-scenes coverage, our early access, video scripting, raw updates in the field, stuff like that, as well as exclusive member-only meetups and more. So we really appreciate your guys' support there. Lori Fox has the feed from the launch of this rocket fleet. Yes, we do have the launch. I can grab that link for everybody if people are wanting to check out the actual launch itself. Let me grab that to you right now. Just give me a brief moment and I'll be able to grab that for you. Zoom in our map here so you guys will be able to see where it's passing over. This is the current live track of the core stage as it continues through on its re-entry. Absolutely, Stanley. Thanks for being here. That's awesome. Appreciate you checking us out for the first time and hope you'll be back around. We believe that space is better together, and that's why we always invite everyone to be part of our team and our crew. We'd love to have you here. We love answering your guys' questions and trying to bring actual factual information to situations that are happening around the world as we really enter this new era of space exploration. It's a really exciting time and lots of exciting things happening. We'll drop a link here in the chat if you wanted to see the launch of the Wenshen module and this Long March 5B. You can find that with the link there in the chat. Dee's asking, are there any airports nearby? No planes at risk? So this is something that's a really great point that you brought up there, Dee. Planes. There are aircrafts that fly over, especially between Canada, the U.S., and Asia that fly there. There's airway highways that this is coming over. So there is a risk there. What they would probably be doing within the air traffic control rooms, because NORAD is tracking this, would be clearing a few mile range if there were any flight paths in that area to make sure that there aren't anything during this time. Musical Wolves, how many sonic booms will it make or who will hear them? Most likely just one, but nobody should hear it if it stays over the Pacific Ocean. John is asking, is there a good source of information for the Chinese company? Honestly, I think we're pretty good at it. We try to verify everything. The Chinese government doesn't put out a lot of information on their space agency, so we try to verify as much as we can and are working to actually have some of a team possibly in China to bring even better coverage of that. So I would say us. If not, the Chinese space agency's website is kind of the best option to make sure you're getting factual information and not just people's thoughts. Flawed perspective, is there any hypergolic fuel left on the rocket? You'll never be able to fully drain a rocket, so yes, there is the chance that you'll have hypergolic fuel left. So when it does land, there can be a small explosion, or during reentry as well. There definitely is the chance of that occurring, and we are keeping a close eye on that. And we just had an update from the aerospace corporations about the trajectory. The trajectory that we currently see here, we'll go back full screen on it. This trajectory of the CZ5B rocket re-enters in the middle of the window. They are unlikely to have any further predictions. The rocket may be too low to be seen by sensors supplying data, and they will be following for confirmation of re-entry and location from other space agencies that actually have all the ground stations. But at this time, we are expecting to be in kind of the period of re-entry. This is happening now. Over the next probably about 40 minutes is when we are expecting this rocket to come back down onto Earth. That blue line starting to be eaten up, the rocket having already traveled a portion of that now over the actual Indian Ocean, going on what we hope will be its final pass over Jakarta and Singapore, clearing the Philippines. Hopefully it will not make it around for another pass here, depending on how re-entry goes over the next little bit of time. If you haven't yet, though, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the broadcast. It really does help us out. I know it's annoying to hear it, but it does help us out to be able to bring you guys the best possible live coverage of the space events as they happen, as we do get closer and closer to this targeted point of re-entry for a Long March 5B core stage rocket. If you guys have questions, you can continue sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We'll be working on answering those as we continue through today's re-entry period. Now less than 40 minutes from estimated re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere. Question coming in from aviation: while the re-entry, will the rocket burn out? So the rocket will burn up a bit. It's expected to burn up about 50% of its weight. The rocket weighs 22.6 tons. We're expecting 4, 6, 8 tons of that to make it through re-entry. About 20 to 40%, possibly more, can make it through re-entry during this time. So it is a possibility. Can't wait asks, is there a chance it can hit California? Not anymore. Baja California is still at a risk of a possible impact, but California itself is clear. Sandland, why couldn't the Air Force pilots shoot this thing? I mean, technically you could, but the speed that it's traveling at, it is currently traveling at 7.82 kilometers a second, 4.8 miles a second. So it is something that it's moving fast. It would be very hard to, you'd almost need an intercept missile or something. But we do have confirmation. The altitude currently 137 kilometers or 85.3 miles and descending. The core stage is beginning its descent in its orbit. This does not mean it has begun re-entry. On an orbit, you always have an apogee and a perigee. It's reached its apogee and it's now coming down to the lowest part of its orbit, but the hope is this will be a low enough orbital pass that it will confirm a re-entry. It'll get caught in the Earth's atmosphere and continue through today's course. Now we are getting updates that we may have another projection in a few moments here. The Aerospace Corporation saying, right as they thought they weren't going to get another one, they might be having another projection. So stand by. We'll bring that to you the moment we have it as we await updates on the status of today's core stage of a Long March 5B rocket re-entering into the Earth's atmosphere. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share it out. It really does help us out. We're answering your questions. Transmere, can it be destroyed before re-entry? Not in its entirety. In that top right corner of your screen, that's what can make it all the way through re-entry. Even through the really hard re-entry of the Earth's atmosphere, when these type of rockets, that's what's able to still come through. I can't. Why would China build these rockets when there is a chance of casualties? They don't necessarily care. There is a small enough percentage chance that it would actually cause a casualty, globally speaking, with 70% of the Earth being water, and then you only take actually how much percent of that other 30% is inhabited. It's a pretty low chance that this rocket would actually hit a house or a village. Yet, as you can see in that picture in the top right corner, and we have other pictures as well, it has hit villages before. So it is a possibility, but not something that we expect to see. The craft itself, Liam, is 5 meters in diameter, and I believe it's 33 meters long. The craft that will be coming into reentry. It is the core stage of the rocket. If you go out to our YouTube channel where you can see the thumbnail of this video, we have highlighted in red the actual core stage, so you can see that there. Saved by Grace, thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the coverage of China's carelessness. I appreciate your support. Really helps us bring you guys the best possible coverage of everything space. If you guys like to help support us, you can do so. Super chat, hit the join button to become a TLP member. Starts at just 99 cents a month. Or if you'd like to support us and not have YouTube take 30% of your support, you can check out our Patreon. The link will be in the chat there. As we are now 35 minutes until expected a re-entry. We are waiting for an updated prediction here. At this time, the Aerospace Corporation is working on another prediction of when they weren't planning on doing. So we are keeping a close eye on that and waiting for any confirmation from any of the other space agencies that are tracking the orbital entry into space, into the Earth, excuse me. And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad and our continuing coverage of the uncontrolled re-entry of a rocket from China. We have an updated prediction from the Aerospace Corporation, and they are now putting re-entry right on the edge of the picture here, right off of the coast in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We'll try to size this so you guys can actually see it on screen. But a slight earlier re-entry now. We're going to update our timers here. on where this re-entry is now expected to occur, just off of the coast of the we're kind of in the middle of the ocean, but off the coast of northern Japan and China now. More certain that it will be in the Pacific Ocean at this time. There you have it, that timer now being updated to the new re-entry window, expecting at 17:08 UTC, or just 22 minutes from now. Do you guys have questions? By taking us at the launch pad, and we'll be answering those live. Make sure you take us at the launch pad so we can check those out here. Aviation, how I have so many questions. Will it be safely recovered? No, it crashes into the ocean and then falls to the bottom of the ocean. This is not a recovery vehicle, so it will not be recovered there. But we'll wait to see what happens. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the broadcast, as we are now just 20 minutes away from the estimated re-entry of the spacecraft here. We are keeping an eye on it as this continues. Keep in mind, there is still a chance can fall anywhere along that window as we continue to keep a close eye on that track. Keeping a close eye on all the updates from different agencies at this time, but it looks like it will be down around 17:08. Joining us, welcome here to the launch pad, our continuing coverage of the uncontrolled re-entry of a Chinese Long March 5B core stage. Florella, thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate your support there. Really helps us do what we're able to do. Updated prediction map in the bottom right corner of your screen, showing that re-entry now really right on the edge of the image. We'll pull up the full world view of this track that we are seeing right now, the core stage passing over Jakarta and Singapore, hopefully for the very last time. Right now, altitude at 128 kilometers or 79.9 miles and very slowly descending. The core stage is still currently traveling at 79.9 miles, 7.83 kilometers a second or 4.87 miles a second. And we are keeping a close eye on this reentry occurring. Here is the, got a little big, let's update this here. There we go. Doing this in real time, folks. There is the updated map for that re-entry. As you can see, that blue path we are now well into. We are now passing over the Philippines right there. So we are expecting now in the next 15 to 20 minutes re-entry to begin. But there is still that chance. That plus 1 hour mark brings it down over Baja California, the edge of Mexico, and South America. But North America, Africa, Europe, India, Australia, 99.9% of Asia, you are in the clear, so no need to be worried that you're going to have a rocket land on your house like in the top right corner where we have the picture from a previous rocket, but it will be something. Dice, will people in Japan be able to see the burn in the street? Depending when reentry actually occurs, at the current predictions, no. So on that image in the right corner of your screen, that orange ring around the edge of the image is where visibility would occur. So at this time, unless you're on a boat, no. That's probably a better thing. Though we would love to see photos and videos of it reentering. We would rather it not re-enter near anybody so there are no photos or videos of it because that means that it just has more safety. If you haven't yet, though, take a moment, engage that like button, share the broadcast. It really does help us out. We are now just 17 minutes from the estimated time of re-entry of the Long March 5B four-stage rocket. If it's your first time here at the Long 5, we bring you full coverage of everything space, live launch coverage, space briefings, space news updates, and exclusive one-on-one interviews. So make sure you engage that subscribe button. It'd be really cool. Let's see if we can hit maybe 73K subscribers before re-entry. Let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll do a giveaway if we can do that. So engage the subscribe button, share out the broadcast, as it really does help us out. There are some small islands off of Japan, but right now, so actually where you see our yellow line on the left side of your screen, this is a live tracking view. Where that yellow line ends is pretty much where we're thinking reentry will occur actually. Our yellow lines reset every orbit, and that's just the end of this track of yellow lines, but it's kind of funny because that's where we're looking. So we're looking kind of straight east of Tokyo, but clearly in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Hawaii, you're not at any risk. So we are keeping a close eye on that. If you guys have questions, take a moment, engage that subscribe button, and send those in the chat by tagging us at the Launchpad, as we'll be able to answer those live. If you enjoy space, make sure you follow us over on our Twitter. The links are in the chat here. And consider joining us over on our Discord. I've been hanging out in our live comms while I've not been doing on-air commentary, giving more updates there and answering more questions. Our Discord is open to the public, so you're more than welcome to join. But if you'd like to help support what we do, consider sending a super chat or hitting the join button, but better yet, head over to Patreon. If you donate there, YouTube doesn't take 30% of it, so more of your money actually goes into making space accessible for everyone around the world, making it easy to understand. But we are now 15 minutes until possible re-entry of the vehicle here. Now, something to keep in mind, and we'll put this out there, our re-entry, our tracking map will continue to track as if the vehicle has not made re-entry until we get confirmation that it has lowered its altitude enough. It is now currently at 128 kilometers in altitude, or 80.1 miles. It is continuing to decrease its altitude every minute, but we will have a delayed announcement of re-entry. So it does take some time for these tracking agencies to get announcements out that re-entry may be occurring. But as of now, we do expect re-entry to be occurring really at any time. Some systems are saying re-entry could occur as soon as about 6 minutes from now, but we are now in the re-entry window and what we are expecting to see. At this time, the re-entry has begun to drop very quickly for the orbit. We'll actually pull up an image here on your screen in just a second here, showing you the tracked image of the orbit of the perigee and apogee of the booster as it's been continuing on its journey back down to Earth here. There we go on your screen. So this shows you a map over the days of it. The blue line is your apogee. The red line is your perigee. And we want to see that perigee. You see it coming very low. We're now seeing a perigee of even less than 129 kilometers, so getting lower and lower there, and that is why we are confident that re-entry is occurring today and most likely in the next 10 to 15 minutes. Great point there from Rocket Launch today. Appreciate putting that. Perigee, using terminology maybe not everyone knows, perigee means the lowest point in its orbit, and apogee meaning the highest point in its orbit. So if you were to take the Earth and draw the circle of its orbit, orbit's not always a perfect orbit. So you might have an orbit that's 100 kilometers by 125 kilometers. Still a circle, but just slightly oblong. So that's why we have perigee and apogee points. At this time, it has now passed over, as you can see, Southeast Asia, having now just passed over Philippines and Manila. You are now in the clear as we come down to about 12 minutes until expected re-entry. We're getting another updated map here on the re-entry point, just to make it a little easier to see where this re-entry is expected to occur. So we're going to update that bottom right corner of your screen here in just a moment with the new map, now that we're actually targeting the middle of the Pacific Ocean. There you can see a better idea of where that re-entry set to occur off the coast of Asia, but before it gets anywhere near the United States. Re-entry expected at 17:08 UTC, or just 11 and a half minutes from now, but we will be keeping a close eye on it as we continue towards this actual time of re-entry. Briley's asking how long between potential re-entry and potential impact should one occur. With it, you're talking a matter of minutes, so it would be very quick, just a matter of minutes that will be able to occur. Again, if you guys have questions, keep sending those in the chat by tagging us at the launch pad. We're going to try to answer those as fast as we can to the best of our abilities. Cloud perspective, are there any Kerbals on board? Not on this one, but we were doing some simulations on Kerbal earlier today, so we hope to maybe do some more of those on our Discord following here. Some more great questions coming in. Could the ISS take pictures for us? No, they are on totally different orbits, so not able to do that. How do we get this information? So we are sourcing our information from about 6 different sources, from the European Space Agency, Space Corporation, a couple other space tracking agencies as well, that are all tracking it with space and ground station technology, as well as our own trackers at this time. Right now, though, it has cleared into the Pacific Ocean, so this is where we are hoping to see this occur. And what's going to happen is we're going to get to a point where we hope that it has re-entered, but we won't actually have a true confirmation of re-entry until possibly 15, 30, 45 minutes or more after the actual time it has occurred. So keep that in mind. We're going to have a little bit of time before we have an actual confirmation of re-entry, but we will be keeping an eye on that as we continue through the actual period of time where this may have occurred. What we'll do when we hit that period of time is we'll update our screen to show just the new map overlay of where the re-entry was expected to have occurred until we actually get an update on confirmation of re-entry. We are now just 7.5 minutes from the estimated time of arrival. Some predictions have put that it may have already begun its re-entry for it. During the window, lasting about 20 minutes, is when we are expecting re-entry to have actually occurred. But we are waiting confirmation from the Chinese Space Force and Chinese Human Spaceflight Agency for the possible confirmation of re-entry here today. But everything pointing to re-entry now being in the next 6 or 7 minutes from now. Some people asking where is safe, so we'll go a quick run through of everywhere that is safe. All of North America, except the very, very tip of Baja California, you are safe. Europe, you are safe. India, you are safe. Africa, you are safe. Australia, you are safe. 99% of Asia, you are safe. The little tiny path over the Philippines is still at risk, but very, very unlikely risk that is going to be happening. So we'll be going from there. This core stage launched just a week ago, July 24th, 2022, launching the Wenshen module of the Chinese Space Agency, their second space station module, and that is what we are seeing the outcome of that core stage now making its re-entry. Expecting re-entry in just the next couple of minutes. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, and share out the broadcast as we share it out. Now we are in that period where it was plus or minus an hour. We are seeing possibly some videos on social media showing a breakup over Malaysia, but we are going to wait for confirmation that that breakup has occurred, as it could be possible that this is what it was, but it's, as always with social media, hard to confirm, someone just uploading a video and what day it was actually filmed. So keep in mind, we are getting reports that it may have already broken up over Malaysia, but we are waiting for confirmation there. If you're just joining us, though, we are now less than 5 minutes from when the official estimated re-entry of the core stage of the Long March 5B rocket. Core stage will make its re-entry, but we are getting reports that breakup may have already occurred. We're waiting for further confirmation of that over the coming minutes as we approach that targeted re-entry time at 17:08 UTC from multiple officials. This will be over the Pacific Ocean, so it's not something we are expecting to see, but we are waiting for confirmation and updates. If you guys have questions, send those in the chat. Tag us at the launch pad. We'll work on answering those live. Also, make sure you share out the broadcast. Let people know what is happening as we continue through this re-entry period. And if you haven't yet, engage that subscribe button so you never miss space news as it happens. We bring you full live launch coverage, space news updates, space briefings, and exclusive one-on-one interviews right here on the Launchpad. Really great comment in the chat from Michael. As the rocket breaks up, tracking becomes more and more sketchy, unreliable. That is absolutely true. That is something that we do have to keep an eye on for it. Now, we are seeing multiple people sending out a video on one social media of possible re-entry. It's definitely a video of orbital hardware breakup, but we have to wait for confirmation that it actually was from today. So we're trying to authenticate that at this time. But at this time, we're going to transition to the point of re-entry should be occurring now. We are in that window of when this should have occurred. So we're keeping a close eye on that as we continue towards this actual re-entry period. Keep sending those comments and questions in as we do continue towards this re-entry. There is no immediate threat to life at this time as it is over the Pacific Ocean, and re-entry expected to be occurring in the next couple of minutes. We are going to work on pulling up this video feed for you guys, so you'll be able to see this video that we are seeing circling on social media of the possible breakup of the Long March 5B rocket. So stand by as we work to patch that in here in just one moment. And if you're just joining us here, welcome to the launch pad. We are now showing a video of an for sure confirmed report, but we are hearing that this is most likely a video out of Malaysia of re-entry of the core stage of the Long March 5 vehicle re-entering over Malaysia. This was posted in the last 10 minutes. We're getting multiple sources signifying that this should be an accurate sighting of the re-entry of this module. This is definitely a video of hardware breakup, but this is what we are seeing. So entry having occurred now earlier than the predictions on the map, happening down about 25 or so minutes ago. Now this is, obviously if someone's filming this, it happened over land, so we do hope this debris was able to land in the ocean. Obviously we'll wait for more confirmations officially from the Chinese Space Agency, but we are seeing possible sightings of the core stage re-entering officially from Malaysia. This is from the Twitter account NAZRIACAI. We'll drop a link in the chat there. We do want to give credit where credit is due, so go show some love to that. But this is a video that we are seeing showing the re-entry of the Long March 5B rocket from earlier, about 20 minutes ago. So if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. You're looking at a looping, unconfirmed video of the Long March 5B core stage re-entering over Malaysia. Everyone's signaling that this is exactly what this should be. It's how it looks. It's how it likely would have broken up, and everything there. So we are keeping track of that, and we are waiting for confirmation from the U.S. Space Force and others for confirmation of re-entry, but re-entry now being likely confirmed over Malaysia a little bit earlier than what was initially expected for this time. If you haven't yet, take a moment, engage that like button, share out the broadcast. It really does help us out. Before you head out, make sure you engage that subscribe button as well so you never miss another live launch coverage, space news update, space briefing, or exclusive one-on-one interview. And make sure you mark your calendars because we get to do this all again in October when China launches another Long March 5B. Thanks so much, Sam Lin. Appreciate it. We are waiting to hear if there will be confirmations of where the debris actually landed. The fact that it is now a video from Malaysia showing the debris flying through the sky. A little more concerning, as that is where we wouldn't want it to be. You generally want no video of these core stages coming in because there is that greater risk of harm to people. So we are really hoping we don't see anything occurring there. We are now getting other videos coming in, so we're going to spool up a couple different ones here. So make sure that you are keeping an eye on this. We are getting now multiple videos coming in from Malaysia of this re-entry. So definitely seeing that re-entry has occurred at this time over the Malaysia region. There's another video there coming in. Again, these are unconfirmed videos, but they are all from a similar region, showing the same thing. So with our ability to verify what we're seeing, this is what this would look like if we were seeing some sort of event like this. So we would comfortably say these are definitely videos of this re-entry now occurring, being confirmed over Malaysia. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat. Tag us at the launch pad. We'll work on continuing to answer those. So as this is a developing story, we are getting more and more updates as things are continuing to develop. We are now seeing that some of these videos are coming in from, and I'm going to say this wrong and I apologize, Kuching in Sarawak, Indonesia, which means landing could have occurred downrange in northern Borneo or possibly Brunei. Is what we are now seeing. This is where some of these videos are coming in. The videos that we are seeing here were showing that it was still quite high in the atmosphere, which means it could have still landed a few hundred kilometers downrange. And that's what we are expecting to see. To give you an idea, we'll pull up one of the videos that we are seeing and roughly where it is. We want to thank Jonathan McDowell tweeting this image on social media. Here, we'll pull this up here in just a second for you. We're going to do this live on the air as we work to get everything spooled up. But an image here showing the actual map of where this footage was recorded, and now where we're actually seeing possibly that path, continuing along the path of where it would have been able to actually have traveled over the couple hundred kilometers following its deorbit. So this is the possible track of re-entry here on your screen. We'll switch over to the video that we confirmed out of Chungking. Sorry that I'm saying that wrong. I know I am. But that is what we are seeing here today. That video coming out, and you can see that orange line with that orbital path leading all the way up to Biruni. And because of that video, we can see that it was still quite high in its orbit, so it could have landed downrange a couple of hundred kilometers as we continue to wait for some more confirmed reports from actual space tracking agencies. But I don't think you can beat live video from on the ground. That gives us that best sign of what actually has occurred. D says, so no one knows if it hit land or sea. Based on where we see this video, it looks like it's a high likelihood that it did hit land, or right off the coast there. You can see that orange line is where it's tracking along, and this video is still when it was high in the atmosphere. So it is likely that it did land somewhere further down range, close to that Miri or that yellow border with Biruni, somewhere along that line. But we'll have to wait for continued more detailed confirmation of this. If you haven't yet, though, take a moment, engage that subscribe button, like button. It really does help us out, so you never miss space news as it happens. And buckle up, we get to do this all again in October, so we'll be trying to bring you full coverage of that as well, of course. We'll bring you full coverage of the launches, giving you an idea of what we do have coming up over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we're counting down to the launch of Artemis 1, the maiden launch of SLS. But coming up before that, we have another Electron rocket for NROL 199 launching out of New Zealand. We have an Atlas 5 launching on August 4th. We have a New Shepard on August 4th and a Falcon 9 on August 4th. So we hope you'll join us for a possible triple launch day on that day. We also have a launch out of India on the 7th, a Soyuz on the 9th, another Falcon on the 9th, and then, of course, that big launch, August 29th, hoping for the maiden flight of SLS for Artemis 1, beginning our journey back to the moon. But if you're just joining us, we have unconfirmed videos of the Long March 5B core stage re-entering over Kuching in the Sarawak, Indonesia region, expecting that debris has landed a couple of hundred kilometers downrange. Keep in mind, this rocket weighed 22.6 tons prior to its re-entry. 20 to 40+% of it expected to actually make re-entry over the course of today. So you're still looking at those, 4, 6, 8 ton range of debris actually making it through. Another video coming in here. We're going to be clicking through these as quickly as we can. These are all on Twitter, so make sure you're checking out Twitter to find these videos and the people posting them. But another video of debris coming in from the Indonesia-Malaysia region. No actual statements yet from any of the larger space tracking agencies, as when these things break up, they become a lot harder to track. So honestly, one of the biggest things we're going to be looking for is confirmation from the actual Chinese space agency that landing has occurred. If you guys have questions, make sure you're sending those in the chat. Take us at the launch pad, so we'll be able to answer those to the best of our ability. Thanks, Jessica. I appreciate that. We're trying to trying to bring our best possible coverage of what is happening. We know lots of people are worried about it. We're glad that, generally speaking, hopefully people will be safe. It looks like a pretty unpopulated-ish region, and still a chance that it had water there, but we want to bring you that best possible coverage, so we appreciate that. Doc Bones, hopefully no news is good news as far as touchdown. Absolutely. The fact that we live in a world that is ultra connected is a great sign. Hopefully we'll be able to get some more confirmed landings information, but we'll see what occurs there. Teflon Don, thank you so much for that super chat. Appreciate it. That's a great super chat there. We are watching as a Chinese Long March 5B rocket core stage, so that is the main large section of the rocket, has re-entered the Earth uncontrolled. So China launched a payload to their Chinese space station. They launched a whole new module, living habitat, and laboratory up. And the core stage of the rocket, after it did its job, it separated the payload. That core stage floated around the Earth since July 24th, and it now has, with Earth's gravity, been pulled back into our atmosphere, and that is where we are seeing these videos coming out showing this re-entry occurring over Indonesia a little bit earlier than where all the estimates had it, right over the middle of the Pacific. So we do hope that people will be able to have remained safe at this time. Lots of these different videos coming in showing absolutely incredible videos showing the re-entry and what these look like. Kind of a bonus for us. You know, we always love being able to see these. These are some truly incredible footage, but also, I'm sure, very scary for a lot of people that did not know what was happening. I see lots of tweets on some of these being like, is this a comet? And tagging, you know, some of their, you know, Air Force and different things in the area. Many people in especially Southeast Asia did not know that this was actually going to be occurring, which is why we're live. So take a moment, share out the broadcast. Really does help us out as we continue to cover this re-entry of the Long March 5B core stage. Really is amazing connected times we live in, Pulsar. Absolutely true. Trying to keep up with your guys' questions there. Make sure you're taking us at the launch pad. That helps us flag those questions so we can try to answer those. So we are having reports that it has re-entered, which means landing generally occurs 10 to 20 minutes after re-entry. These videos are reporting claims of about 30 minutes ago. So at this time, it is safe to say any of this debris has actually landed at this time and is not still in orbit or still flying. It is something that has crashed down in southeastern Asia, around Malaysia and Indonesia. Thanks so much, Monty number 4. Really appreciate your super chat. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Try to bring best possible coverage that we can. If you guys haven't yet, though, we pointed out, we know it's a bigger event, new people joining us. Make sure you follow us over on Twitter as we live tweet space news all the time as it happens there. And by all means, there are so many launches happening these days. If you like space, definitely follow us here and on Twitter so you never miss launches. And consider joining us over on Discord if you want to be part of an awesome space community and talk about space. I see we've got about 8 or 10 people hanging out in our live comms right now. I'll be jumping back in there in a few minutes, answering some more questions in our Discord community. So definitely consider joining us there. And if you'd like to help supporting what we're doing, just like you've seen some people do, consider sending in a super chat or becoming a TLP member, hitting that join button. Just 99 cents a month helps us bring you better coverage, getting our team at locations around the world. But if you don't want YouTube to take 30%, consider using our Patreon, the link there in the chat as well. Opus, all the companies deploying payloads in low Earth orbit without plan or ability to deorbit is equally responsible. Absolutely, and that's why most agencies now do have deorbit plans for their second stages, their third stages. It is something that we see, but at this time, we keep an eye on it as things continue on. Not all the nations of the world agree that they necessarily need to do that. We have to say, Earth's covered 70% in water, and then, we're seeing how much of that remaining 70% in water, the remaining 30% that's land, how much of that do we actually live on? Let's say maybe 15 or less. So the odds of this actually landing on something is quite low, yet we see it happen quite frequently. We had a picture earlier in the stream in the top right showing what the booster looked like when it came through. Barry, does the reentry tracking help us track it better in October? That's a really great question. Obviously, we will get more data from this. A number of the space agencies, including the Space Force, tracking it, the European agencies as well. So yes, being able to, kind of not rehearse, but get more data on how to track how these boosters interact with the atmosphere gives us a little bit of a better idea on how to predict on it. But ultimately, each time it goes through space and the atmosphere, it will be different. So that is something that we have to kind of, always have that give or take. That's why all of our early predictions up until 15 minutes before reentry were plus or minus an hour, and that was the tightest we got on this time with the booster. We had this occur last year, and we'll have another one, as you said, in October. So we hope to have another safe landing in October, but definitely something to see. If you've been enjoying our coverage and you want to help share it out, if you wouldn't mind, take a picture, share out a broadcast of how you guys are watching the Launchpad on social media. Tag us @TLPN_official on your Twitters, or tag us on Facebooks or TikToks. We'd love to see how you guys watch the Launchpad, where you watch it, who you're with. As we know, there's people tuning in all over the world. 2,800 of you still here. Take a moment, let us know in the chat where you're watching from. We'd love to give some shout outs there if it's your first time here. Wanted to give a shout out to Juan, who, I hope I said that right, but Astro Smokey, thank you so much for tweeting out that video. Really awesome starships around your TV there. Appreciate you watching and tweeting out that stream on your Twitter there. Great to see you, and be great to connect over about some coverage at Starbase if you're ever interested. So definitely get connected with us there. But we'll love to see where you guys are watching from in the socials. Terry, has it crashed in the ocean? So we are getting videos from Indonesia and Malaysia showing it crashing over land, but we do not have confirmation of where the actual debris field is. So we'll keep an eye on it. Debris should have landed now at this point about 10 to 15 minutes ago. It is not, we've not had any videos or photos of debris in the field, and this may be something that we don't get ever, or it might be something that comes at a later time. But now 35 minutes ago, we had this video come in showing the debris in Indonesia passing over, so we are keeping an eye on that. We have had a tweet from the CNSA Watcher, which is generally a good source for Chinese space news, showing this video here, confirming this was that debris. So just another confirmation that we are seeing is what we're thinking we're seeing, which is a great sign. Great to see so many here. We got Greece in the chat, Yellowstone, Trinidad. Great to have you all here. We've got Amsterdam. Thanks for being here. Los Angeles, India, San Antonio, Texas, Buffalo, New York, Huntsville, Alabama, Lakewood, Washington. Great to see you all here in the chat. Appreciate you being here. Black Space, thanks so much for becoming a VIP spectator. Really appreciate your support being there. We got Pennsylvania, we got Arizona, Colorado, Preston, UK, Colorado, Atlanta, Tulsa, Bruni, We got India. Great to have you all here. Thanks for being here. Australia as well. People all over the world tracking this booster as it, or core stage even, as it came here. And as this is a continuing developing story, we do have another video coming in here showing that debris field coming in over parts of Malaysia. Notice our headline was a little bit wrong there. We've had mixed reviews of Indonesia and Malaysia. So we've confirmed that Sarawak is in Malaysia there. But multiple videos. This is a video out of Bintulu, which is actually on the center of our map there. So where you see that orange line pass over the ocean again, this is in Bintulu, this new video here. So debris definitely having passed there, possibly getting closer to Miri and Bruni, but you can see that debris is quite a bit lower to the ground compared to what we saw in Kuching, which was this video here. You can see it's looks quite a bit higher in altitude during that re-entry. So we are having that there. Really interesting video to see. See these multiple videos here. So definitely tracking that debris having passed over Kuching, past Bintulu, and now towards Miri. A better sign that it may have landed actually in the ocean or had a greater possibility of landing in the ocean. We're going to move our little map over here a little more to give a little bit of a better view there of what land masses were coming up after, but definitely going to be closer to Miri and Bruni and into the Labuan Federal as it continued on its journey there. If you guys have questions, you keep sending those in the chat. Take us at the Launchpad. We'll work on answering those. We're working on trying to get as many of these videos to show you guys as possible and verification from any of the actual tracking agencies as we continue through this live coverage of today's re-entry of the Long March 5B core stage. Thank you so much, Kristen, for becoming a VIP spectator. Really appreciate it. And T Stacks, thanks so much for your super chat. Appreciate the support there as well. you guys are interested in becoming a TLP member, consider hitting that join button or head on over to our Patreon. Starts at just 99 cents a month and really helps us out on bringing you best possible space coverage and have our own people in the out in the field. We're going to take a very quick commentary break. Stay with us as we... Oh, Doc Bones, thank you so much for that super chat. $10, really appreciate it. Good to know what's going up and coming back down as well. Thanks, exciting stuff. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Doc Bones. Appreciate that there. We're going to take just a couple-minute commentary break to try to get some more updates for you, but make sure you keep sending in those questions by tagging us at the launch pad, and make sure you've engaged that subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage, space news update, exclusive interviews, and more as we continue to track the developing story of China's rocket's uncontrolled re-entry over Malaysia. Stay with us right here on the Launchpad. And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad. We're continuing to see more videos coming out of Malaysia of the re-entry of today's core stage of the Long March 5B rocket that launched on July 24th. Some of these incredible videos showing perspectives of re-entry over the last couple of, last 30 minutes or so. So we're going to keep cycling through these here. If you happen to be in the area and we're able to capture photos or videos of it, definitely let us know. Tweet those on social media, tagging us at tlpn_official. We'd love to share your video here of what you were able to see. But definitely now more videos, definitely confirmation that this was the re-entry here, and we're keeping an eye on it. At this time, we have seen videos out of Kuching and Bintulu, and I'm apologizing, I'm saying those probably incorrectly, but we're trying to make sure we get to you guys your information as quickly as we can. Debris is now expected to have fallen most likely in the Miri to the Barun Eye area, up in the northeastern quarter of this image that you're seeing on the right side of your screen, based on just the elevation of the debris in some of these videos. Obviously, seeing those videos from Kuching and Bintulu confirms that trajectory of the debris continuing on. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat. We're going to continue answering those as we continue on, waiting for confirmation from an actual space agency themselves. But as we said, this could take 30, 45 minutes, an hour, or even longer before we see any sort of confirmation like that. And as I say that, we have an official confirmation. U.S. Space Command can confirm that the People's Republic of China, PRC, Long March 5B core stage, the CZ-5B, re-entered over the Indian Ocean at approximately 10:45 a.m. Mountain Time on 7:30. They will refer everyone to PRC for further updates, but we do have confirmation from the Space Command that they did have re-entry confirmed at 10:45 a.m. This was about 20 minutes earlier than we expected on our predictions that we were showing earlier, but that lines up with all of these videos that we are seeing of that re-entry. So that's that confirmation that we were waiting for, that confirmed landing there. Deepa Dolphin, can you draw on the map where the debris field could be? Let me try to do that. I haven't done that in a while, so let me see if I can do that. That's a great question. It's a great idea. I can at least draw an arrow. Actually, I have an idea how I can do that. Give me one moment. So that debris field is going to be somewhere along that red line that we're seeing. You can probably adjust that, make it a little smaller there. But that is where we are seeing. We have had multiple videos out of Kunshi and Bitulu. So that highlighted kind of red areas where we're expecting that debris to have possibly fallen, possibly a little bit further off of the map. I saw a question. Where to go? I missed it. What does China do to the debris that falls on land? They move on. They say it was another day. Unfortunately, it's not something they super do a lot of. Countries could try to impose a fine on them if they wanted to, but it's not something that we haven't. Great point from Denzin. This rocket was 22.6 tons while in orbit. 20 to 40% of that is expected to come back down through. So we're still talking 4, 6, 8 tons of debris. But as you can see in these videos, it looks like it has broken up into multiple pieces. So we hope that it has really broken up. But we have seen in the past a 5 meter by 20, 30, 40 foot section still be able to make it through. The booster itself was 5 meters by 33 meters, so a very large 22.6 ton booster. But we hope that it has broken up more than not, as it has done this re-entry. Based on that red zone, it is a better odds that it did land in water, which is a really great thing, and that's what we're hoping. The U.S. Space Command has said that they will refer everyone now to the Chinese Space Agency for actual confirmation of the landing zone, but U.S. Space Command has confirmed it has re-entered the atmosphere. But some absolutely incredible videos coming out from around all of Malaysia showing this reentry. This is a video in Kuching, which is in the bottom left corner of that map on the right side of your screen there, where it says Sarawak. This is a video over a beautiful building, but showing that reentry. Quite a startling video for those not knowing that this was possibly going to be occurring. But nope, it's not the Transformers. It's just the core stage of a Chinese rocket. I'm going to say your name wrong, and I apologize. Mansaya? How long does it take to crash to the ground? Generally, it's between about 10 and 20 minutes is kind of what people are expecting. All depends on the size of the actual debris and the weight of the debris and everything there. But about 10 to 20 minutes is kind of the rule of thumb. Mark pointing out read a clip from a Malaysian newspaper yesterday saying Malaysian space program states Chinese rocket very unlikely to hit Malaysia. Yeah, unfortunately, up until a couple of hours ago, we weren't able to really narrow this down. And even just over the last 2 hours, we went from an Indian Ocean landing to Pacific to Baja, California to Pacific to further west in the Pacific, and now confirmation that it actually occurred about 20 minutes earlier than most predictions over Malaysia. So that's what we are happening there. Local time was right around 1 in the morning. Absolutely, that would be kind of spot on for that timing there. Now happening just over 1 hour ago. Re-entry confirmed by U.S. Space Command. Keeping a close eye on the social medias, seeing any other videos that are coming in from the region of that re-entry, but absolutely some incredible shots of the core stage coming back in following its launch on July 24th. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those to us in the chat. We'll be answering those live as best of our ability. Make sure you tag us at the launch pad so we can try to see those questions as they come in. Just updating a little bit of that overlay there for you guys to see that path that the debris could have traveled. We are seeing those confirmations from Bindulu and Kuching for the landing. Probably saying those wrong. Apologize about that, but that is that streak of path. It is possible debris could fall anywhere along that path line, just due to the fact of smaller pieces could have broken off. And that's what we are seeing there. But those larger chunks having traveled a couple of hundred extra kilometers downrange. Iwu, has anyone caught any of their debris? Not yet. As it's the middle of the night, I'm not sure it'll be super likely that we'll find it, especially if it landed in a field. And our hope is that it landed in the ocean. But that will be the hope. That it landed in that water region and not actually on land, which means we may not actually be able to see it. Avenant, have the people evacuated in these regions? No, because we didn't have. We had a orbital path of 2 hours, which is 1 and about a quarter orbits around the Earth that this could have deorbited in. So you do not evacuate the regions. Unfortunately, it's not something that we can narrow it down close enough, early enough to evacuate a region. You just hope that people were aware. If you do happen to be in the Malaysia region and find rocket debris, please do not approach it. Call your local authorities, report it. Take pictures and videos of it by all means, but please do not approach or touch it. These can still have toxins. They had hypergolic fuels. It has just re-entered the atmosphere. Your health is more important than a picture of you holding a rocket. So please do keep that in mind if you are in the region and are going out rocket hunting, as I'm sure some people are doing. The difference in the videos that you're seeing, a really great call out actually there. Why are we seeing it going left and right? You're seeing it from the Kuching and the Bintulu angles. So these different angles you're seeing. This video is from Kuching, which is on the bottom left of the map there. So you're seeing it head northeasternly towards it. Same with this one. It's heading, to the left of your screen. This one, it's heading to the right. This video is out of Bintulu, so it's continuing along that path, and that's why you're seeing that change in direction in some of those videos. But really great question there. TripAdvisor, holding a piece of rock can be pretty cool too, but do it when it's safe. Health's more important. Herman Shit asking, will it explode? So you can see on these videos, it was breaking up during re-entry. We'll go back to this first video that really shows it incredibly. Definitely shows some small kind of explosions as it goes through it. So we'll have to see. Access through Christ, I have too much going on to go live. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Trying to catch up on all your guys' questions here. Can't wait for Transformers coming to your country. A couple of too many caps there for Nightbot's liking. But, yeah, not Transformers. This is the core stage of a rocket re-entering here. The core stage was 22 tons prior to re-entry. We're expecting 4, 6, or 8 tons, roughly, to make it through re-entry in total.
Try Fazoli's new ravioli and fettuccine bake. Cheese-filled ravioli with meat sauce, side by side with fettuccine smothered in our creamy Alfredo. All topped with mozzarella and provolone cheeses. And baked to perfection. It's only $4.99, including unlimited breadsticks. Only at Fazoli's.